The black community needs to stop defending murderers. YNW Melly is finished, and here's why. Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Rashad Crenshaw back again with another video. And recently, somebody posted this narrative of YNW Melly has a chance of coming home. His team says he might come home. His team says he might make it home. And I saw all sorts of people from, top rappers saying that he might be coming home, random Instagram models saying he might be coming home. All these people excited for Melly to come home. I haven't heard one peep out of anybody with any form of sympathy for the two people YNW Melly is alleged to have killed. Now, YNW Melly by no means in any way, shape, or form has any chance of coming home. According to the state of Florida, they currently possess 66 pages of evidence against YNW Melly, the evidence of which includes autopsy reports, conflicting testimony, ballistics, phone location. I mean, it's over for YNW Melly. 66 pages. I want you to think right now of how much information you can fit in just one page. We're talking about PDF files. We're not talking about images. We're talking about words. A PDF file, a page. How much information can you fit in just one page? You can fit a lot. Now, how much information do you think you can fit in 66 pages of evidence? Enough to send some man to the death penalty. And that's what the prosecution is looking for. Now, personally, I think that YNW Melly shouldn't get the death penalty. I think that if it's true that he killed these two men, he needs to serve out the rest of his life in prison. The death penalty is an easy way out if it is proven that this man did in fact kill these two men. Despite that fact, the evidence despite the fact that the evidence isn't in YNW Melly's favor, people continue to push this foolish narrative that YNW Melly is somehow or another coming home, and everyone is just zoomed by the state of Florida, their police department, their law enforcement. We're just zoomed. Y'all are foolish. Y'all are foolish, bro. I don't know any other way to put it to y'all. Y'all are foolish and delusional to think in your mind that YNW Melly is coming home is the most delusional narrative I've seen since, bro, Rondo finna be home for Christmas, bro. Rondo finna be home by Christmas. Y'all remember that? When Rondo and I believe C-Day went and killed that taxi cab driver, and Dirk and the rest of OTF and what was Chief Keef, Glow Gang and the rest of them kept talking about how Rondo's coming home by Christmas? Man, these dudes are finished. They're absolutely finished. YNW Melly's own mother literally drops a video talking about how her son is bout it, and it's literally disrespecting one of the men that YNW Melly allegedly killed. Watch.
Show me text messages from Sack Chaser threatening all her friends and all these people like he's about this life. But I'm saying, like, who the fuck you ever robbed? Who the fuck you ever shot at? What the fuck you ever did? Nigga, you couldn't even take a fucking weed charge. If you don't sit your pussy ass down and don't ever come for me, because my credentials is real. It ain't even a joke. So don't ever try to come for me, because I don't even play them type of games. Like, what the fuck you got that I ain't got? Oh, you threaten me with your little gun? Bitch, I got big guns. At the end of the day, Melly is my child, and he is gonna be great because he's talented. He's talented because his mom, not because of your little fuck ass, retarded ass.
So now that you've seen that video, it becomes increasingly clear why YNW Melly didn't even stand a chance. Look at the kind of person that's raising him. Look at the kind of person that's bringing him up. What kind of mom even goes as far as to address such a case or even give the prosecution an idea that Melly would have had a reason to kill him. They already believe Melly killed this man because the man was owed, I believe, from $200,000 to $400,000 in proceeds. Now you got this man's mom, Melly's mom, asserting the idea that YNW Sack Chaser, the names get more and more ridiculous every single day, YNW Sack Chaser apparently threatened her with a gun. So now the prosecution is saying, oh, so not only do you have a financial cause for killing Sack Chaser, you have a familial cause. Your mother has come out on social media and has said that YNW Sack Chaser threatened her with a gun. So it becomes increasingly clear as to why YNW Melly and others don't stand a chance. And what do we do as a community? Instead of trying to figure out how we can mend this relationship between Melly's family and the family of the victims, how can we properly police our communities? How can we mend these beefs and these issues? What's going on? How can we fix these things? Instead, you have one side of the community saying free YNW Melly, and the other side, in the event that YNW Melly might die or someone of YNW Melly's stature dies, it's long live Melly. Long live Melly. So there's literally zero to no sympathy for the victims or their families. It's almost like YNW Melly's victims don't even exist. And the black community just rides on out because the only thing that matters to us is entertainment. YNW Melly's alleged victims have families, and not one person has, out of respect, decided to leave the conversation alone in respect to the families. Instead, what we've seen is clear support from so many different people within the community just because this man can rap. Just because he can rap, we're gonna forget about the fact that he allegedly killed 2 people. The man dropped the song Murder on My Mind like 2-3 years before, and we're just supposed to sit here and act like this man is an upstanding member of the community that the black community can't afford to lose? Absolute foolishness. And to make it even worse, YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend and her mother allegedly, I'm not sure if this is 100% confirmed, but allegedly testified against Melly in court. They were cooperating with law enforcement. They were cooperating with the police, cooperating with the judge, cooperating with the prosecutor. And lo and behold, YNW Melly's management pays them $5,000 and they cease and desist their testimonies against Melly. Now, $5,000 is not enough to get me to shut up. I could blow that in a month. Anyone's blowing that in a month. I mean, $5,000? Come on. And that should give y'all insight into how much money Melly and his team has to pump into these lawyers, into these legal tactics. They have to pay the people who are trying to testify against them $5,000. $5,000. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. I personally wouldn't take $5,000 to shut up. You got me messed up. I'm not taking $5,000 to keep my mouth shut, but that should give you insight into how desperate these people are to get Melly out. And it should also tell you Melly allegedly, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed that this happened, but the state is asserting that it happened. And they're going to use that as witness tampering evidence, which is going to compound on the crimes he's already alleged of committing in court. So you got him already on these murder charges. Then they're trying to say that this man drove around with the bodies and tried to hide them. Then they're saying he paid off witnesses. Then his mama's talking about the dude who my son killed threatened me with a gun. Alleged. She didn't say that Melly killed them, but that she's referring to one of the men that Melly is accused of killing and asserts that that man threatened her with a firearm. So here we have a laid out situation. It's clear as day that Melly's finished. It's clear as day that he's done. I don't understand how in anyone's mind Melly has a fighting chance at anything other than maybe getting life in prison. and not getting the death penalty. That's his biggest concern, is not getting hit with the death penalty. If he's truly innocent, he should be trying to fight his hardest to get life in prison, because these people are looking to sentence him to death. And one of the main reasons why is because he allegedly drove around with the bodies for 15 to 20 minutes. The man dropped a song called Murder on My Mind. The man is smiling in the camera when they take a picture of him in prison. He got all kind of tattoos, all kind of grills. We got to use our minds here and really think. What do you think the jury is looking at when they see Melly? What kind of people do you think they recruit to the jury to judge people like Melly? You think they're recruiting real niggas, excuse my language, real niggas and bad bitches? Shout out to Hassan Campbell, these are his terms. But real niggas and bad bitches ain't on that trial. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. They're hiring people, they're not hiring, but they're summoning people to come be on the jury from high income areas. People who work hard, people who make a lot of money. They're trying to get people who most certainly want people like Melly as far away from the city, the state, the country. They summon people like that to come be jurors on these cases. What do you think the jury sees when they see YNW Melly? Let's be real here. Put the feminine logic aside. Oh, they being racist. It's unfair. Be real right now. Would you want your son presenting himself the way YNW Melly presents himself? Part of why he looks unbelievably guilty, regardless of evidence, is the way that he presents himself. These people are pushing for the death penalty mainly because they look at the kind of lifestyle that this man was living, the kind of imagery he presents, the kind of imagery he promotes. These people don't want him even breathing Florida air, much less being free. They want him dead. They want him dead. So what I want to ask the black community is this, is you had all the sympathy in the world for George Floyd. You had all the sympathy in the world for all of these other black people who were killed by the police or killed by white people. Where is your sympathy for black men who were killed in senseless gun violence? Where? Because these victims have families. And I haven't seen one grown black man in the industry come out and say, hey, we wish the best for Melly. We don't want to see him get sentenced to death. We don't want to see him get sentenced to life in prison. However, his alleged victims have families. Let's come together as a community, as men with power and stature and money, and let's mend these relationships. Let's find a way to help YNW Melly's alleged victims' families heal financially, socially. I don't see that. Instead, what I see is an unquenchable thirst for blood from the community to be entertained, eternally entertained. Eternally entertained. These rappers are like blood sport gladiators who destroy one another, tell on one another, ruin one another, all for the entertainment and the sake of the entire black community, all of black social media. And you have people who genuinely haven't for 1 second thought to themselves, what about the victims and their families? Not one person. And I see every single day why there's a chance that the black community will self-destruct in America. There's a chance that we won't make it because I just don't see any sort of conscience. I don't see any sort of concern. I don't see any sort of investment in self. I don't see any sort of step watching. Whoa, we shouldn't go down that way. Whoa, we're not showing any empathy to the victims or their families. Whoa, let's step back a sec and reanalyze the situation and find a way to come at it from a civilized perspective. Instead, all I see is an eternal, unquenchable thirst to be entertained.